Good day everyone, we are the group 5 and we are assigned to discuss unit 15 where it is all about using group by clauses and joins. So group by clause can help in creating frequency distributions. This clause can be used with the aggregate functions that was discussed on lesson 14. The aggregate functions that we have is the average, the sum, the minimum, the maximum, and the count. Now we're going to try the syntax for group by, wherein we will select a specific column. For example, we are going to select the pastry name, and then since we are going to use the 5 aggregate functions, let's try first the average amount of each pastry name. So we're going to get the average for pastry amount. So this will be the column pastry amount, this will be the aggregate function, and then this will be another column name. Next, from the table pastries, since these columns came from the table pastries, and then next, group by, we're going to show the pastry name. There you go. This will be the average of the brownies, 75, the cake, 200, the cookies is 75. This will be the average of it. And then next, the crinkles will be 33. What if we try counting each product or pastry that we have? We will just put select pastry name, the column name. Next will be the count, and then you'll put pastry amount. Next will be from TBL pastries again. And then group by pastry name. There you go. The brownies has only 1, the cake 1, cookies 2, crinkles 2. There you go. This syntax simply counts the amount of products that we have. Yes. Still the same when we remove, when we change this. How about we try to count the amount? So we will change the amount name. There you go. Since there's 32, 1, 34, 134, 175, one amount of 200, 50, and 100. Simply counts, okay? Next, we will try the sum or total. So we will get the column name again, sum, and then pastry amount, so that it will get the sum of amount. And then from TBL pastries, and then group by pastry name, so that it will show the pastry name. Okay, let's try. Where is it? Okay, here is it. This will be the total, or the sum of each products. So next we will try the minimum and maximum. So we will just insert the pastry amount. Pastry amount, and then we'll put the minimum aggregate function, and then you'll put here the pastry amount. Oh, you can put here the pastry name so that it will show that what is the minimum of that specific name or product name. And then from TBL pastries, group by pastry name. There you go. So the minimum of brownies is 75, the cake is 200, the cookies is 50, and the crinkles is 32. Why? Because 32 is the minimum of crinkles, minimum amount of crinkles, and then the cookies have 50. When we put the maximum, it will show the maximum amount of our pastries. There you go. There will be 75, 200, 100, and 34. Let's try inserting another brownies. For example, we insert 55. I mean 150. Let's try what will be the output. There you go. It shows 150 because the maximum amount is 150. If we want to specify what do we get, just simply put this so that you are aware that it is a count, it is sum, it will have column name here. So let's try it. So as I said, if you want to put a column name here, you'll just simply put this syntax or code so that it will specify what are you getting.
So let us now talk about SQL distinct. When we say distinct, it means different from something else of a similar type. So SQL distinct statement is used to return only the unique values. Inside a table, a column often contains duplicate values, and sometimes you only want to list the different ones. The syntax for the distinct clause is this. Expressions are the columns that you wish to retrieve. Tables are the ones you wish to retrieve records from. Remember that there must be at least one table listed in the from clause. Where conditions is optional. These are the conditions that must be met for the records to be selected. This is an example on how to execute the distinct clause. This table is called suppliers and it has the following data. If we are to enter this SQL statement, we will find the unique states in the suppliers table. So here's the result that we should see.
So good afternoon, guys. This time we're gonna talk about summarizing results with SQL Group By. There are certain codes that we need to use in order to summarize a table, namely count, min, max, sum, and average. These methods are already built in SQL and ready to use anytime. So, so as you can see here in my IDE, I have already created my table, and it has product ID, product name, product type, product price, product quantity sold, and of course the primary key, product ID. So my columns has constraints, as you can see here, and I already have stored values on my table. So here, as you can see, these are the these are the values or the data on my table. So in order for us to see what's inside our table, let's run this statement. You already know how to do that. And okay, let's run that. Okay, as you can see here, here's our table. Our inputted data here in this syntax is printed here in our table. Product name, product type, product price, and the product quantity sold. So suppose we are to summarize this table in order for us to see the table in a simple way. So in order to do that, we will use the methods provided by SQL for us to summarize a certain table. So in order to do that, we need to type select then product type. So I am only using the product type column because this is the most common and the column that has the most common inputted data. For example here, my product name is Fudgy Bar Choco, and the product type is food, the product price is 7, the product quantity is 11. So as you can see here in product type, food, I stored it frequently in many values. It has to say certain values in my table has the same product type. So as you can see here, Fudgy Bar Choco is food, Oshi Pillows is food, and here also in Lava Cake is also food, and yes, here Cracklings is also a food. So we have another category which is hygiene. So Safeguard soap is hygiene, and Palmolive shampoo is hygiene, Lifebuoy is hygiene, lotion is hygiene. So product type occurs many times. So I can group the table by its product type. So we can see we can count the common common category of a data. So first, let's count the category. How many foods or how many hygiene types or gadget types of product are in our table. So in order to do that, we need to type count all. Then let's name the column. Let's name it as product type quantity. So let's use the QTY. Then don't forget to type from our product table name and group by the most common input data that has the common product type. So let's run this. Let's see if it will work. So as you can see, there's no error occurred. So we can see here our product type food, hygiene, gadget occurred 4 times. Our food category has 4, and hygiene is 4 also, and gadget is 2. So let's determine the total sales of each product type. So in order to do that, let's type sum of the product. Wait a minute. Let me type here. Times product quantity sold. Let's name it as total sale. So here, in order for me to get the sale or amount of sale that a certain product has, I have to multiply the product price and the product quantity sold. And in order for me to get the summation of all the sales I had in food, hygiene, and gadget, I have to use the sum method provided by SQL. So if we will run this, we will see that I have a total sale of 345 pesos in food, 2,120 pesos total sales in hygiene, and lastly, gadget, I have 36,000 pesos. So next is, in order for us to determine the highest sale on our products, we will use the max method. So let's type the max method, then copy this. You already know why I inputted that syntax, and let's name it as highest sale. Don't forget the comma here because it's a different syntax now, different method implementation rather. Okay, let's try to run that. So okay, here. So the highest sale in food product type is 112, in hygiene is 1,200, and for the gadget is 21,000. So what about the minimum? So that's easy. Let's just copy this. Then yeah, that. Then let's change this as lowest sale. Then let's try to run it. Then voila, we have the lowest sale. So the lowest sale in food is 72 pesos, in hygiene 140 pesos, and 15,000 pesos in gadget. Now let's get the average sale of each product type. So in order for us to get the average of each product type, average sale, let's type AVG. I think it's the abbreviation for average here in SQL. Then let's copy again this syntax. Then let's name it as average sale. Don't forget the comma here or we will get an error. And let's run it. Then we already got it. So we have the average sale on food product type, which is 86.2. Let's run it up. It's 86.3 or 530 in hygiene and 18,000 in gadget. So that's the way how we will summarize a table on SQL. So I think this is for simplifying the tables for getting the average sale of the product and determining the low sale, high sale, the total sale. So I hope you learned something. Have a good day.
Having clause limit or set condition for a group by clause because we cannot use a where clause inside a group by clause. The having kasi is contained of data group by the data. Yung where is specific collect of data. Bale, yung having is nakakonect siya lagi sa group by group clones. Yung where kasi, di mo siya mako-connect sa group clones kasi we cannot use example. Ito po. Ito. Select employee name, sum salary for employee, group by employer name, having sum salary is greater than 2,000. Ang lumabas is here. Si Claire, si Frank, si Jonas, si Kaylee, si Scarlett. Yan yung greater than 2,000. Use SQL having to filter summary result from a group by its specific the research condition for the group or aggregate SQL having is only used with select. It is mostly used when a group is present. If one instance there is a implicit single aggregated group. When constructed, a select statement use having the order is ito. Yan. Select column list from table where condition group by column having condition order by column list. So, what do you mean the SQL having filter summary result look like at an example? Ito. Ito. Select employee name, sum salary for employee, where sum salary is greater than 500. Group by employee name, having sum salary is greater than 1,000. Ang nangyari is, yung where kasi hindi siya naka-aggregated appear sa group by. Bali, yung having close is a nakakonect siya sa group by. Bali, yung where nga yung sinabi ko na specific data, specific collection of data. Ang having naman is yun nga yung contain group by the data. Is lagi siya, yung having is nakakonect lagi sa group. Where is hindi mo siya makakonect sa group. Kaya hindi siya pwede maano yung result niya. Kakuha yung result. Example. Select. Okay. Ito. Select employee, name ID, employee ID, department name, sum salary from employee. Group by employee name, employee ID, department name. Having sum salary is greater than 1,500. Order by employee. Employee ID, department name. Is select employee name, employee ID, department name, sum salary from employee. Group by employee name, employee ID, department name, having cost sum salary as in is greater than 1,500. Order by employee name, employee ID, department name. Pag sinama mo sila is isa same na sila. Kasi yung sum is nire-return niya yung value of by group. Yung cast is means kino-convert niya yung data type saan niya dadalhin yung salary or any value. Pag sinama po lahat. Same silang tatlo is means clear. Frank, Jonas. Kaylin, Scarlett. Yep.
So we will now proceed in joining tables. As you can see, I have two tables called Table Library Books and Table My Books. This is what Table Library Books contains. And this is what Table My Books contains. And what I'm going to do is to find out if my list of books in Table My Books can also be seen in the Table Library Books by joining them together. These are the fields in two tables and some fields are identical to each other. And we will use them in the code later. First step is select all fields from the two tables. In this case, ID, author, publisher ID, and title are both present in two tables, but it's up to you which table you will use. And I use table My Books. Next is input the keyword from and type the name of two tables. Finally, use the keyword where, then you must provide which field will become the reference. I use the field Publisher ID since it is the most stable and unique among all other fields. I cannot use the field ID because its use is only for counting all the books. We can now execute the query. This result shows all of my books that are also present in library. We can also join tables in faster ways such as using aliases. We will represent table My Books as M and table Library Books as L. And use the keyword from again, but this time you will provide the table name and its symbol. And it will be the same result.
In this topic, we're going to discuss about joining tables. So there are different types of joins. Joined, inner join, left outer join or left join, right join or right outer join, and full join or full outer join. So what is a join? A join clause is used to combine rows from two or more tables based on a related column between them. In joining tables, you can use our clause where you will connect the primary key to the foreign key. But here we will using the inner join. So what is an inner join? Inner join compare or connects one column or table to another. The inner join keyword selects records that have matching values in both tables, and it states here that return records that have matching values in both tables. It's just the same. So we're going to try it um, here. So I have a code here. Yeah, change it out. It's already 2070. Let's build the schema. So in inner join, you just have to declare the table followed by the keyword inner join followed by the table you are connecting and using the keyword on followed by the column of the first table and the column to the second table. But let's try if it's working first. Let's try the tables if it's working. Let's run and it's working. So here you can see that there's an CTID for the customers table and an CTID for the CT table. So you can see that it's just the same, and we're going to do that, going to show wherein Giolio has a city ID of 1 and the city ID of 1 is Venezuela. Ernesto has city ID of 1 wherein it is Venezuela 2, and Cristiano has city ID of 2 wherein it is Novaliches, and Shadrico has the city ID of 4 where it is Caloocan. So we're going to change it the city ID of Cristiano. Let's make it null. And now, let's try it again. Scheme already. Let's try. And is here. Let's it change to null. So here we can see that Cristiano not has none city ID. So we're going to show that select from customer inner join city on customers that city ID equals city that city ID. So here we're going to show the ones that has city ID. So dapat si Cristiano hindi lalabas kasi wala siyang city ID. And wala naman nabanggit na ano dyan na null pag ganun city name. So dapat ito lang, tatlo si Giolo, Ernesto, Chedrico, and it should be Valenzuela and Caloocan only. Let's try it. So it's here. The customer ID of 1, it's Giolo. City ID of 1, 2, Ernesto, and city ID of 1, it is Valenzuela, and Chedrico for Caloocan. So the key of the important in inner join is just declare the table followed by the keyword word inner join. Oh, let's take it. Inner join followed by table that you are connecting and using the keyword on followed by the column of the first table is equal to the column of the second table. So that is the one that you will remember, that you need to remember. This is the most important. But here I select all from customers because the keyword inner join cd table cd on tables customers that the column city ID and equals to the table city that the column city ID. So that's how you connect the tables or comparing the tables in inner join.